Well, hello there. I'm Dave Lewis. I'm the Regional Training Director for the Dallas region of Destination Imagination, coming to you from the facilities of Christar. A shout out to them and thank you for your generosity. In another session of What Appraisers Wish Team Managers Knew. Today we're going to be talking about brainstorming. This is technically not something that a lot of appraisers are upset about because they don't see the process, they don't know what you did wrong. This is something that team managers misunderstand really frequently. Usually what you wind up when you think that you're doing a brainstorm is a brain partly cloudy. It's just not really getting there, and it's not hard to understand. Not hard to understand why that happens, because brainstorming falls into this little graph. You've seen this sort of a graph that one of them is quality and the other one is quantity. We'll abbreviate it there. And everybody, in so many other areas of life, you see this thing that the more quality you have, the more quantity you have, the quality drops off. This isn't the case with a brainstorm because we're dealing with human imagination, and what we actually find happens is that you get this thing, it runs along really low for a while and then picks up. So you see, that's kind of the opposite of what you expected. Why is that? It's because everyone walks into a brainstorming session with a few pet peeves, a few pet ideas, and their ego. For good or ill, it's going to be ego. And so what's happening with your ego? Well, you've got a scorekeeping mentality. And so the pet ideas, by a strange coincidence, happen to be mine. And they're brilliant. Trust me, if you don't believe me, you can just ask, because they are brilliant. Okay, and so my ideas are going to be thrown up on the board here with a bunch of other people's. So the first thing we need to do is get my ideas up there, and then we need to shoot down the other ones. And the problem that's going to come up is because there are the people in the room. Johnny over here is going to say, "Well, wait a minute. You've shot down 3 of my ideas, and you've liked 3 of his, and so it's unfair. And I'm going to fight back, and I'm going to go on strike, and I'm going to do whatever I can to sabotage this thing because I wasn't heard. My brilliant ideas didn't get any play." So that's what happens in a typical brainstorming session, and the reason is that everyone thinks that the quality is up front when it isn't. So the first thing that you'll need to do is set rules and roles. The team manager is going to be the person with this. You're going to be over here making lists. You're going to be writing down ideas as they go, and you're going to be, I think Cindy is right. If I slow it down, it writes a little bit better. Rules and roles. You're going to be writing them down. The only thing that you're going to be able to say is, well, isn't this the same as idea 5? Isn't this aren't you just restating idea 7? You're going to have every idea expressed in 6 words or less. That's because that way you can keep track of what's being written down, and you push them out a little bit. The other thing that you're going to do is you're going to say, all right, everybody, we need 15 ideas. And you're lying to them. 15 ideas is what you need to get everyone's pet ideas out of their heads and onto the board. And when you get them out of their heads, you've made room for the good stuff. Okay? So you'll find out that the first 10 ideas, boom, 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 they're spitting it right out. You're ready to go. And once you've gotten 15 ideas, then they've slowed down a little bit. And you say, okay, you know what? You're doing so well. Let's get another 10. Okay, and they'll work a while and get 10 more ideas, and then you say, you know what, you're doing so well, I think you can do 10 more. You keep doing 10 more, 5 more, 5 more, 10, 25, 35, 45. Try pushing it out to 55 ideas. Once you've pushed it out to 55 ideas, everyone has been slowing down, and then when you feel them starting to pick up speed again, you know that they've started free associating, they've started communicating with their subconscious minds, they've started really getting in touch with their creative selves. Now, once you've gotten to 55 ideas, and if they're really bogging down at 50, go on and stop there. Then what you do is you remove everything but the last 10 or 15 ideas. Now, that was the lie that I was talking about. You didn't tell them that these first ideas were going to be off the table. But the thing is that experienced teams that have been through this before, they'll still have that pet idea, and they'll say, you know what, I'm going to hang on to this one until we get out to 45, all right? They're going to find out that they're not putting any ideas up there, and they're going to say, you know what, this idea is not all that hot compared to them. Maybe I need to move on. And so they'll let that idea go, because you have to let go of the first one in order to get the better one. As a writer, I've learned that I get this cool idea for something you could do in a story, and until I write it down and include it in a story, I'm not going to get anything better. Now that you've generated a lot of ideas, that's when you start criticizing them, because that other feature of what I was saying, that they're going to try and shoot down the others. That's what happens after the first 15 ideas. After the first 10 ideas, someone will say, we have to include toast in this thing. And someone, well, that's a stupid idea. No, can't do that. You have to include the idea. Nobody gets to shoot anything down. And if you run into a team that has really a high level of interior competition, the scorekeeping mentality, then there are two magic words. This alone is worth the price of admission. 2 words that you put at the end of each idea, or not. We can include something in our skit about toast, or not. We can set it in an underwater setting, or not. We can make jokes about the appraisers, or not. We can do any of these things, or not, because once you say or not, you've let go of the idea. It stopped being yours. It belongs to the whole team. You gave them permission to shoot it down. That will open up a brainstorming session. So once they've reached 40, 50, 55 ideas, they've moved outside the realm of common culture. The ideas won't be the same as what other teams are generating. They've reached they haven't gone so far out that they've reached something that's going to take several removes from the audience. You're still close enough to the common culture that you're going to be able to communicate. That's the reason that 45 to 55 ideas is the ideal for a DI team brainstorming their performance. So those 15 ideas at the bottom of the list were the ones that you needed to decide. Now, once you've done that, you get to 2 ways of having them select, and this is fun. You can give everyone $15 to bet on these ideas as horses. Or you can say everyone gets a dollar apiece to vote for or against an idea. And you go through 2 or 3 things. Or you auction off the ideas to the team and find out which one received the highest bid. There are any number of ways of making them sit down and compare them, largely in terms of how doable is this for us, how well does it suit our ideas, how much does it catch and fire our imagination. So remember that you can break your performance down into several components and brainstorm each of those. And it's fun if you don't choose the last 15 on each of those components until you're done with generating all your lists, and then you pick your way through and find out which set, because you're going to find that when you do that force fit, that's when it really sparks the creativity. So now that you know how to brainstorm, pack an umbrella.